Story began with our protagonist in his childhood, sitting inside a bus, gazing up at the sky as lightning flickered across the horizon. A violent storm was sweeping through the entire area. Moments later, a colossal monster suddenly appeared and destroyed one of the buildings, yet the people around see the emit as if they noticed nothing, despite the ground shaking violently beneath them. At that moment, the child was struck with overwhelming shock. After that, he awoke at an older age, realizing that what he had seen was nothing more than a dream. Yet, it had left a deep impression within him. He went back to sleep again, then prepared himself to head to school. On his way, he introduced himself. His name was Noi. He lived with his father, who was always busy with work, leaving him to spend most of his time alone at home. On the other side, inside the school, he met his friend Haki, who was absorbed in playing on a gaming device. He explained that his uncle was the developer of the game and had given him the device to test it. Noi took the device and began playing, until Kaz suddenly snatched it from him. When they realized that the game actually revolved around her as its main character, their tension faded. After that, they headed to the classroom at Kaz's request. During this, while Noi was distracted by the game and not paying attention, he bumped into a girl with crimson eyes and black hair. She quickly apologized, which surprised everyone around her, as they had never seen her before. Her companions appeared concerned for her. One of them reacted aggressively toward Noi for his carelessness, while another stepped in to calm the situation, warning Noi to be more cautious. Suddenly, an emergency alarm echoed throughout the area, announcing an imminent catastrophe, classified as a level 5 threat, with a 99.89% probability of occurring. In the next instant, lightning struck the heart of the city, and the disaster manifested in the form of a massive monster carrying 2 enormous cannons on its shoulders, like a high-level boss emerging in a real-life battle scenario. We shift to Noi, who rushed excitedly to the rooftop of the school to get a clearer view of what was happening. His friends followed, warning him about the danger, but he was confident that the monster would not reach the school. Suddenly, the creature launched a direct attack toward them, but a luminous barrier surrounded the school, completely shielding it without a single casualty. After that, an advanced military squad specializing in anti-catastrophe combat intervened and began engaging the monster. After a swift battle, they succeeded in eliminating it. Noi was deeply affected by what he had witnessed and declared out loud that one day he would become a warrior and fight against such disasters. Elsewhere, the 3 returned to the classroom, only to be punished for their absence during the alarm. Moments later, a new student named Modus was introduced, and everyone welcomed him enthusiastically. As for Noi, he was later punished as well for being late and was forced to assist with school duties. Later in the afternoon, Noi and Cass went out together to search for a cat. Cass took pictures of it because she found it cute. During that time, Noi wandered off while talking with Modus. After a few moments, Modus asked Cass to go out with him. Cass arrived at that exact moment and overheard the conversation, which made her feel uneasy. She quickly ran away, dropping her phone without noticing. We returned to Noi, who noticed the phone on the ground and hurried after her until he found her near the pool area. He returned her phone and spoke with her about the pictures she had taken. During that moment, memories of their childhood resurfaced, when Noi would always protect her from the bullying she used to face. Suddenly, a monster emerged from the depths of the pool. The 2 of them ran quickly into the changing room, but there was not enough time, as the monster shattered the door with its massive blade-like appendages. After that, Noi grabbed an emergency axe and told Cass to go warn the others. It took him some time to convince her to leave, but she was eventually forced to go. At that moment, the monster broke into the room, and Noi confronted it directly, drawing its aggro and distracting it. A fierce battle unfolded between them, but Noi stumbled after launching an attack without finishing the monster. Just before he could receive a fatal blow, a warrior wielding a sword appeared, slicing the monster into 2 halves. He then offered Noi a healing item, but Noi refused it. However, the danger had not yet ended. The monster attacked again despite its injuries. Noi managed to evade the strike, but the monster shattered the warrior's helmet. At that moment, Noi was shocked to discover that the warrior was actually Modus. Noi was thrown into confusion, and in that instant, Cass was suddenly attacked, stabbed in the abdomen as her weapon fell from her hand. But before the monster could deliver its next strike, Noi dashed forward at full speed, grabbed the katana that Modus had been using, and drove it powerfully into the monster. Noi was worried about Modus, so he gave him the healing item that had been offered earlier. It healed all his wounds completely, leaving him in perfect condition. Taking the chance, Noi spoke to him about what it means to be a warrior, saying that anyone who truly understands it might lose their sanity, then warned him not to tell anyone. After that, the conversation shifted to Cass's previous confession. She felt embarrassed and tried to hit him in a light, playful way. Suddenly, Modus's police partner arrived and noticed signs of the attack. He also realized that Noi was always near Modus when he got injured, so he questioned him. During that moment, Modus lost consciousness and collapsed. Noi quickly stepped back, and Cass arrived, worried about him. The police then asked Noi if he knew where he lived, and he confirmed, so they took him home. Later, Noi woke up from a nightmare where he saw himself as a child with his mother, who suddenly disappeared. Then the same monster appeared, covered in wounds. When he woke up, he found Cass sleeping beside his bed. He went to the living room to drink something, and she woke up, asking if he was okay. She told him she helped the officer bring him home and thought the monster had been defeated. Noi remembered that he couldn't tell the truth because of Modus's warning. Cass mentioned what Modus had said before, but Noi told her he didn't understand it. When she left, he decided to walk with her since it was night, worried about her safety because of recent incidents. Elsewhere, a girl was running in fear, stumbling as someone with a scythe chased her. He attacked her. She screamed, and then everything went silent. The next day, Noi went to a public place that had become a crime scene. The red-haired officer was writing a report, saying the victim was a girl between 15 and 20. He noticed Noi alone and warned him not to cause trouble with Oho, Motis, and said the case was unclear due to the night and the condition of the body. Back at school, Noi thought the one who attacked him before might be a large monster. Suddenly, he bumped into the class representative, who asked for his homework. He said he didn't do it because he was attacked by a monster. She didn't believe him and dragged him to the teacher. At that moment, Modus arrived and gave the notebook, saying he had taken it earlier. The girl left, and Modus told Noi they were now real friends. She saved him, and he kept her secret. Noi expected punishment, but instead Modus took him out of school. Meanwhile, Cass asked about Noi and was told he left with Modus. We moved to Noi and Modus on a bus going through the city. She told him she always studied at home and that this was her first time at school. She also said she never had friends before and he would be her first. After that, they spent time together in different places, enjoying themselves. They ate ice cream, then went to a women's clothing shop. Modus wanted to enter and Noi hesitated but went in with her. She asked for his opinion, and he said he couldn't judge unless she tried it, so she insisted he stay with her. Suddenly, a catastrophe alarm sounded again, announcing a level 5 threat. Motis went into the changing room and transformed into a warrior. Noi told her to evacuate people while he observes. Before she left, he told her she was just a civilian and questioned what she could do. The sky darkened, and Noi ran through an alley following the monster. But another faster one appeared. He stumbled, and before being attacked, another warrior saved him by cutting the monster, but was shot by a distant sniper. Noi couldn't finish the monster because the warrior fell on him, so he carried him away, where the warrior used a regeneration crystal to heal. Then another warrior appeared and warned Noi not to get closer, saying his opponent was a demon, and took out a large scythe. A fight started between them. One said the other had killed 2 of his allies. They exchanged strong attacks, causing a huge explosion, and one was badly injured. One warrior approached Noi without noticing, but was hit hard in the stomach. Before finishing him, the attack was deflected by a rock thrown by Noi. Noi shouted at them to stop and focus on the monster. One told him to be quiet, saying NPCs shouldn't interfere. The other laughed and started explaining what an NPC is, but was stopped. Then he grabbed Noi as a hostage and threatened to kill him. At that moment, Modus arrived and pushed him away. The 4 stood facing each other, with Noi behind her. Suddenly, one used a special skill, binding them with sharp threads and lifting them into the air. The warrior revealed to Noi that he was an NPC inside an online game, and that players choose warriors to fight. He showed him a scene from his childhood where destruction was instantly repaired, but NPCs accepted as normal. He expressed his hatred for the game and his enjoyment in killing both NPCs and players. Before things escalated, Cass arrived with a wooden stick and threatened him to release Noi. The warrior wasn't ready and got hit. Noi told him to stop, but suddenly red energy burst from his body, breaking the restraints. Noi rushed forward, hit the warrior hard, knocking him down and away from his weapon. Seeing Cass unconscious, he grabbed the large scythe and attacked. The warrior tried to dodge, but the weapon returned like a boomerang and struck him, and his body began turning into yellow particles around Noi. Noi began to glow with a mysterious yellow aura surrounding his body. Moments later, it transformed into a warrior suit. When Modus approached him, his right eye scanned her, leaving him confused. He realized the warrior's words were true, while Modus grew concerned. During this, Saber told them Cass was fine and that Noi would be analyzed. He placed a regeneration crystal in Cass's hand, healing her completely. Saber warned Noi not to tell anyone. Then Haki called, confirming the monster was defeated and that they would meet again. Elsewhere, two masked figures watched from rooftops in silence. Back to Noi, carrying Cass while Modus followed. He got angry, telling her everything she said felt like part of a game. She replied it was the first time she enjoyed being with a friend. They reached Noi's apartment. Moti stayed outside briefly before entering. Noi asked how to remove the suit, and she showed him a wrist device. She explained his data changed after defeating the monster, and he was no longer just an NPC. He activated it, and the scan showed he was still level 1. Modus guided him to change the suit, but suddenly red smoke appeared, and he ended up naked. She got angry, called him a pervert, and hit him, sending him into the ceiling. Later, they talked. Modus said she would be sad if he disappeared and revealed she had an accident 10 years ago that stopped her from living normally. Vincent introduced her to the game, where she felt free. She explained that players defeat monsters for quests, protect NPCs, and are punished for killing each other. She then revealed her confession was part of a quest, leaving Noi both relieved and disappointed. She also noted the mission wasn't counted because Noi defeated the monster. Noi asked for help, and they went to his room. He asked her to change Cass's clothes, and she agreed. Afterward, she noticed pictures of monsters he had faced. When she saw a childhood photo with his mother, strange memories came back, but she was confused before hearing a vibration. Noi was surrounded by 3 men in similar suits, accusing him of causing problems. One noticed his bracelet and confirmed he was a player. Modus arrived, and they explained they were the game's management, called Nightwolf. Suddenly, Modus received a call from Vincent telling her to log out immediately before her uncle arrived. She disconnected, leaving Noi alone as they analyzed him and discovered he had a special class. A smoke bomb exploded, and in the chaos, one of them was killed by 2 blades. A masked girl appeared, took Noi, and jumped off the rooftop. The man with her blocked the others from chasing. Noi later woke up in a wooden room before a monk. The one who saved him said they were the Ravens, and the monk was their leader. The monk explained this place was hidden, and that their goal was to protect Noi. Elsewhere, a giant crow defeated another version, leaving only the original Nightwolf member, who finished the fight with a powerful light attack. Back to Cass, who woke up and saw what happened, calling the man a killer. He said no witnesses could remain but decided to spare her. He tied her up, took out a strange egg, and forced a creature inside her. Cass collapsed, and he stated he would reset the map. Later, Noi spoke with the monk, who asked about his identity. Noi said he was also an NPC. The monk explained he once trained new players, letting them choose skills. Noi asked why all this existed. The monk said NPCs have purpose, and that Noi was the key to changing the world. He gave him energy as power, and warned him about Nightwolf. Elsewhere, it was revealed Modus couldn't move her legs. At dinner, her uncle questioned her about strange memories of a child and the name Jorito. He refused to talk about the past and left, while Vincent asked why she brought it up. After that, Noi appeared in the living room of his apartment. Everything was perfectly arranged as if new, yet he kept thinking about the danger of Nightwolf. He entered his room and found Cass still asleep on the bed, but she suddenly woke up in fear, crying, then hugged him because of what she remembered. She told him about the 3 men who attacked her and how everything was destroyed. When they left the room and found everything intact, Noi convinced her it was just a nightmare and promised to protect her. Elsewhere, Nightwolf was watching Noi through Cass's perspective, as if seeing everything she saw. During this, Modus asked Vincent about Jorito. After hesitation, he told her that Mr. Jorito was one of the developers of Gaia, the company behind the game Noi lives in, and that he disappeared one day causing major damage. Modus mentioned the photo she saw in Noi's room, which brought back unclear memories, and suggested it might be connected to her childhood. She asked Vincent to help her uncover the game's secrets, and he agreed. The next day, Noi was on a bus, watching a small screen showing images of the Great Wall of China. Suddenly, he saw a blurry shadow of a person he couldn't recognize, which confused him. A passing bus distracted him, reminding him of an unresolved childhood incident. He recalled Monsuto's words that this world might be an illusion since it is an online game, even though everything feels real. After that, Noi met Haki, who told him he reached level 10. They talked about the teacher being angry at Noi, but he didn't care. Soon, Modus arrived and asked Noi to go with her. At the school entrance, Haki met the class representative, who asked why he was alone, and he replied sharply that it wasn't her business. Back to Noi and Modus, she asked what happened to him after logging out. Worried that Nightwolf might have done something, he hesitated to answer. Before continuing, the catastrophe alarm suddenly sounded, so they agreed to talk later and rushed out. Elsewhere, the teacher and the class representative were helping students reach a safe area near the entrance, while Modus noticed Noi heading somewhere else. We moved to Noi and Modus near the catastrophe site, where it was launching massive fireballs at buildings. Noi began analyzing the situation with his left eye, wondering if those attacks were enough to defeat it. Meanwhile, Cass was with the students asking Haki about Noi. He told her he was with him 10 minutes ago before leaving. Suddenly, Noi and Modus were attacked, but Kikan appeared quickly in his suit and blocked the attack. He pulled out a massive axe from his device and struck the catastrophe, confusing it slightly, then warned Modus to stay back. She insisted he couldn't face it alone. Elsewhere, Cass assumed Noi was involved and ran toward the scene. The catastrophe launched 2 huge fireballs, but Kikan blocked them, and his back was set ablaze. At the same time, a member of Nightwolf watched the battle through screens in a hidden room. Suddenly, Vincent appeared and used an ice ability to freeze the game area inside a sphere. Back to Cass, who appeared behind a fence, calling out to Noi. He noticed her, and she warned him to focus and look up. The 4 of them managed to avoid the catastrophe's massive step. The catastrophe responded with huge explosions, destroying everything and exposing Cass. The barrier protecting the school disappeared, leaving everyone unprotected. Noi helped Cass stand up, while Modus asked to join Vincent's team, and he agreed. The catastrophe moved toward the school, but Kikan stopped it, while Vincent warned him not to fight alone. During the fight, Cass asked Noi to leave, but he refused, saying this was their world and they had to protect it, promising he wouldn't die. He completed his transformation, equipped a sword-type suit, and entered the battlefield. He saved Kikan from a dangerous fall, while the catastrophe unleashed firestorms that shattered the school's windows. The others warned Noi to stay back, but he insisted on protecting his friends. Vincent asked Modus for her opinion, and she supported Noi. Noi stood before the catastrophe, trying to summon his weapon through the device, but failed for no clear reason. The catastrophe attacked him directly while he was unprotected, and Modus tried to defend him, but failed. Noi fell unconscious, and Modus rushed to him as the catastrophe was about to crush them, but Kikan stopped its foot. The catastrophe tried another attack, but stopped after being shot in the face by a sniper with Captain Vincent. When Vincent noticed Cass in danger, she ordered Kikan to move her away, and he did. At that moment, Modus tried to wake Noi, while he was trapped in a childhood dream inside a burning vortex. Meanwhile, Captain Vincent ordered Haki not to interfere with the explosive witch, saying they wouldn't get any rewards since the sword user had arrived before them. Then we returned to the battlefield, where Vincent explained that the explosive witch is weak in her leg, but if her head is attacked, she loses control and her power doubles, requiring high-level players to face her. Noi asked Haki if she knew them, and she said they were the ones who saved her from Monsuto, but the captain ordered him not to interfere. During this, Vincent realized the catastrophe was about to launch a massive attack, so he released powerful ice abilities, but the shockwave destroyed everything. Elsewhere, Cass saw the situation and thought Noi might die, so a dark aura burst from her. Inside Nightwolf's room, they noticed the console reacting to that energy and questioned why it didn't appear in her data. Back to the catastrophe, which moved again toward the school. Modus asked Vincent to help the students, and he agreed. We moved to Noi's strange dream, where he was a child on a spinning ride, seeing his friends in danger before being lifted into the air. In reality, Cass lost control and released a violent burst of power beside Kikan, pushing him away, while the console of a Nightwolf member was destroyed. Cass's red eyes fully changed, and at the same time, the catastrophe destroyed the school's roof in one strike. When Cass saw Modus holding Noi, she shouted angrily, refusing anyone to touch him, while Modus used a regeneration crystal to heal him. Inside his consciousness, Noi appeared as a child flying toward the school to save his friends. He saw Modus, asked who she was, and they held hands as a strange aura surrounded them. Then Noi woke up, his eyes glowing, standing firmly. When Kaz saw he was fine, she returned to normal, felt relieved, then lost consciousness and fell. Kikan was shocked, while Night Wolf was amazed by the energy she held, saying the world had become more interesting. Noi's behavior changed, his eyes turned red, and he shouted that he would destroy the catastrophe. He jumped toward it with a red aura, then paused, looking at the monk as if seeing his mother. He activated the console and summoned a weapon he couldn't use before, a massive scythe. Elsewhere, the monk controlled Noi's energy, formed it into a sphere, and gave it to him. Modus tried analyzing him, but the data was unclear, and she was shocked by his rage. After that, a Night Wolf member moved to a location, thanking Noi for leading him there. He faced the monk and said he had pushed Noi's power to the limit, telling him to stay alive. Meanwhile, Noi launched a powerful attack, setting everything on fire. Some flames reached the school, but Vincent protected everyone with a barrier. Suddenly, Noi used the same special attack Monsudo used before, binding the catastrophe with threads and absorbing it into his body, turning it into a new suit. The students and teacher realized the sword user was Noi. The sky cleared, and Motis confirmed he wasn't normal. However, a dark aura still surrounded him. As he lost control, he tried to attack Motis, but a Raven member appeared and struck him using a snake ability, breaking his mask. It was revealed that the Raven was the class representative. She said she was ordered by her master to stop Noi. When he asked about the catastrophe, she said she defeated it, then said she could no longer remain class representative after her identity was exposed and disappeared. Elsewhere, a Nightwolf member found the monk's location using his connection with Noi. He defeated the guard, destroyed the door, and faced the monk, saying he would reveal his true identity. The room changed, and the monk began transforming into a large muscular man. The Nightwolf member told Noi he didn't care about him personally, but wanted him to reveal the Raven's location. Back to Noi, inside a car with Kikan and Motis, discussing a press conference. Kikan explained that Tenma developed the Gaia system and the Shoyu Sky game 10 years ago, and the conference would be today. Motis added that her uncle could complete the project, and that the system stores all game data in a massive computer. They arrived at Vincent's office. Kikan said players must defeat catastrophes and improve their skills. Vincent replied he could do that later, saying he felt he was getting dumber each time. Kikan was annoyed, but someone entered, served a tea-like drink, and left. Vincent got straight to the point, telling Noi he called him to confirm certain things and would answer his questions. Elsewhere, a Nightwolf member appeared before the monk, called Senshan, offering him real freedom. The Nightwolf member laughed, saying they created this world, and without backups they couldn't continue. He said errors were increasing and must be eliminated, pointing to Noi as the key. Back to Noi, Vincent began explaining his past, saying his mother died 10 years ago and he lived with his busy father, but made friends like Haki and Kas. Noi suddenly interrupted, releasing energy that scattered papers, shouting that game characters have value and aren't just data. Motis replied they were forced to act that way to uncover his secret, as he is tied to this world, and they needed answers. She asked for his help, saying they were still friends. Noi felt embarrassed, while Kikan laughed and asked Vincent for his opinion, until Kikan suddenly turned into ice after Vincent commented that they didn't come to this world for fun. Vincent returned to the main topic and took out a photo of Noi as a child with his mother, asking who took it. Noi said his father did, but when asked about his father's name, he couldn't remember. He tried to recall anything, but a sharp headache struck him and he collapsed unconscious. Elsewhere, Nightwolf was controlling Senshan, pinning him to the wall with a strong aura, mocking him and saying he had become weak after protecting Noi. Senshan broke free and attacked with an energy sphere that hit his chest before losing consciousness. Back to Noi and the others, Vincent said they still couldn't find any information about his father, and that his data had been tampered with by an unknown source. Motis asked Noi if he knew Jorito, but he got another headache and couldn't remember. She explained he was one of the system's developers, and that his name came to her mind in Noi's room. Vincent then explained that Noi was surrounded by mysteries, and despite his power, he was causing a system anomaly. If enemies discovered him, he might be deleted. When asked if he knew someone like him, Noi mentioned Senshan without the others knowing. Elsewhere, the class representative returned to the Raven's base and was told that a Nightwolf virus had attacked. Motis wondered why Noi was called the origin of energy, recalling Senshan's words, but not understanding. Kikan said Senshan was clearly an anomaly, while Vincent said he needed more information and asked Noi where he had been, but he couldn't answer. Elsewhere, a blonde girl opened a car door and a puppy got out, while an albino boy stood nearby. He called her Ramsha as they moved items from a cafeteria. Back to Noi and the others, Vincent asked him to change clothes because the swordsman's suit attracts attention. With Modus's help, he wore normal clothes, while she felt embarrassed remembering the previous situation. After that, Vincent told the class representative to attend the Shoyu Sky conference and said they would disconnect Motis before that. He warned Noi to be careful, as people in the real world see him as dangerous. At that moment, the people moving items saw Noi leaving the building by chance. Noi returned to his apartment, turned on the lights, and found Chino there. She asked what he was doing, and he answered awkwardly that he was defending his honor. She told him Senshan had been captured by a nightwolf virus, that they were searching for the ravens, and that Noi was their next target as a symbol of hope. Noi said he always dreamed of being the swordsman who saves everyone. But now things were different. Chino told him Senshan gave him all his power and that it had meaning. That night, Noi decided to protect everyone. He went to the living room and found Chino sleeping without a cover. The next day, she woke up covered, with snacks and a note saying Noi went to school. Noi arrived at school as the bell rang. At the gate, Cass hugged him worriedly because he wasn't there when she woke up. He told her he had been unconscious. He said he took her to the hospital, then brought her home and calmed her down. While going down the stairs, a nightwolf virus appeared and told them to continue what they started before. It was interested in how Noi became a player and asked about Senshan. The virus said Senshan was sent away with one of its agents, then attacked Noi with a strong electric attack, knocking him out and pushing Kaz away. As it tried to take her, a mysterious aura surrounded her again, warning it not to approach Noi, and the shockwave destroyed the ground. The virus laughed at her destructive power while she fixed the damage, then said she only came to greet them and disappeared. Noi regained consciousness shortly after but was weak, so Cass helped him to the classroom. When he entered, his classmates welcomed him with flowers, thanking him for protecting them. Haki sat aside, uninterested, while Cass kept her distance due to shock and jealousy. His classmates told him they left messages. During class, Cass asked Haki if there were messages on his desk. He coldly said he was busy playing. Noi asked if he was upset, and he replied sharply that he was busy. Suddenly, the teacher threw chalk at both of them, angry at their talking, and Haki blamed Noi, who apologized. It was later revealed that Cass had stolen the letters meant for Noi, then burned them on the school rooftop, whispering that Noi belonged to her alone. Back to Noi outside the school, Haki stopped him and asked directly if he had a problem with him and whether they were still friends. Haki said that if they were real friends, Noi would have told him everything before, but now he had become a hero while he was just a gamer. Noi replied that the truth is harsh, and if Haki still saw him as a friend, he would have told him everything without hesitation. After that, Haki changed his tone and asked how he became a swordsman. Noi agreed to tell him, but warned him not to tell anyone, as revealing the secret could cost him his life. He took him somewhere quiet and told him to lower his voice. At that moment, Cass was watching them from a school window, repeating that Noi was hers alone. Later, Noi went to ask about Vincent in the same building they had met before, but was told he wasn't there. As he left, he noticed the real-world conference hadn't ended yet. Haki asked again about his secret, but before Noi could answer, a large dog suddenly jumped on him, acting friendly and licking him. His name was Shunhai. Soon the blonde girl appeared, grabbed him, pulled him away, then helped Noi up, saying Shunhai had good taste in people. Without hesitation, she invited them to her cafe across the street, mentioning a special offer. Haki got excited and went with her immediately, while Noi hesitated, waiting for Vincent, but joined after Haki called him. During this, the albino boy, working as a waiter, briefly appeared, watching what was happening. Noi took the chance and told Haki the truth, that their world wasn't real. Haki replied he was fine being a gamer and kept playing. But as Noi continued, he began to understand that even if they were part of a game, they still think and feel, and he started accepting it. Soon, the blonde returned with cappuccino and Brenda dessert. When Noi tasted it, he was surprised by how good it was. Elsewhere, Cass kept appearing in different places, searching for Noi. Meanwhile, Noi and Haki noticed the blonde was looking at him strangely, though only Haki believed it. Noi started questioning whether everyone around him was a player or not. Haki explained that as someone inside the game, he doesn't see others as real and wouldn't notice even if someone disappeared. We moved to Modus at home, sitting in a wheelchair, wondering where Noi was, while Vincent told her the conference preparations were ready. She said she would check later, as she still felt uneasy. Back at the cafe, the albino asked Noi and Haki about the coffee, and they said it was great. He was pleased and said he worked hard on the Brenda dessert. He then offered them a job, saying they could drink coffee for free. He added that only he and Ramsha manage the place, and that he likes coffee, Shunhai, and Ramsha. Suddenly, Noi and Haki noticed Cass outside the cafe. She claimed she met them by chance while shopping, but the blonde rushed and hugged her awkwardly. The albino pulled her away, scolding her. While Cass said she likes cute things, Cass clung to Noi, and at that moment, Shunhai started barking as the catastrophe alarm sounded. Noi noticed the device on the albino's wrist and realized he was a player. They all stepped outside, and by coincidence, the catastrophe appeared right in front of them. The albino and the blonde explained that the catastrophe was like a pendulum without eyes, moving by sound, and that it was level 13, moderate for them. Noi realized they were stronger than him. At that moment, they transformed, and he noticed they were both swordsmen, even the dog. The male swordsman told everyone to cover their ears, then threw a sound bomb that confused the catastrophe. The female swordsman took the chance and attacked with her semi-automatic weapon, hitting it. Then she whistled to Shunhai, who launched into the air with wings. Haki noted how skilled she was, and moments later, Shunhai struck the catastrophe powerfully with his wings. Noi refused to let his friends escape and told them to stay back while he chose to fight. He summoned his swordsman suit, and this time a katana appeared from his device instead of the massive scythe. He said he expected that, adding that the prey belonged to them, and if he defeated it, it wouldn't return. He told himself that what mattered was protecting others, then rushed forward and attacked the catastrophe. Before continuing, the catastrophe escaped by digging into the ground. Noi, Haki, and Ramsha followed through the hole, finding tunnels split in two directions. Ramsha and her dog took one path, while Noi and Haki heard a sound ahead. When Haki turned on a light, they discovered nearly 100 eggs, from which small creatures similar to the catastrophe emerged. Realizing the danger, Haki told Noi to get out and threw a bomb into the nest, causing a large explosion. He threw more bombs, but the creatures still came from behind them in huge numbers. The creatures moved toward Cass and Haki inside the cafe, but Noi managed to save them. Their numbers spread across the street, where Momoko was inside the building where Vincent had been. Noi hesitated between protecting Cass and Haki or saving Momoko. Haki decided to go upstairs with Cass to avoid slowing him down, then asked Saber to drop a bomb at his location, causing an explosion that drew attention and gave Noi a chance to rescue Momoko. Haki and Cass blocked the second floor with tables, while Noi saved Momoko and carried her out. As they exited, the giant catastrophe rose from the ground and attacked Saber, who avoided it. Noting the robot hadn't arrived yet, Noi and Momoko lost consciousness due to the catastrophe's effect, but Noi regained it quickly. At that moment, small creatures appeared above Haki and Cass, but Ramsha intervened, shooting them and eliminating them with Shunhai, saying she was searching for the pendulum, but hadn't found it. Noi realized the pendulum couldn't locate them without sound, but Momoko woke up and screamed when she saw it, revealing their position. Cass tried to save them. Ramsha warned against using bombs, but the creatures caused her to drop one, so she jumped out the window with her dog. Cass grabbed the bomb and threw it at the pendulum, but it aimed its weapon directly at her. Thinking his friends were dead, Noi released a burning red aura. At that moment, the robot arrived, and its pilot attacked with an energy beam, but it had no effect. The catastrophe targeted it, but the attack was cut by 4 fire vortexes. Noi rushed forward, and flames covered everything around him, destroying the pendulum and all the eggs. He realized he had controlled his power, but thought it was too late to save his friends. Suddenly, he heard Cass and Haki's voices. They were on a nearby rooftop with Chino in her raven suit. Relieved, Haki quietly said he now understood Noi wasn't normal. Cass ran to Noi and hugged him, and everyone felt relief after surviving. Noi thanked Chino. We then moved to Modis and her uncle at the press conference, speaking about Shoyu Sky. A blonde reporter asked about rumors that the game was unstable due to an incident 10 years ago, questioning if it was true. Back to the group, Haki and Cass were worried about Momoko, and Cass noted Vincent hadn't arrived yet. Meanwhile, Hakoran talked about coffee and how he enjoys making it with Ramsha, while she mentioned he actually can't drink it, making the moment light. Hakoran said this world allowed him to achieve his dream of owning a cafe, and that some people need this world. He then asked Noi to be his friend and offered him a job, but Noi accepted the friendship and refused the job since he was still a student. They left the place, and Noi ran with Haki and Cass, refusing to tell them everything because he wasn't a real player and wanted to keep some distance, even though he knew they were good people. After they left, Hakoran noticed someone hiding on a nearby rooftop. Hako appeared and came down to them. Ramsha rushed to her, hugged her, and called her cute, then joked about her brother Hakuran. Hako asked for his opinion and he said that Noi was special. He added that the captain ordered them not to interfere, so they were only observing. Hako said that if the system director discovered Noi, he would be deleted. Hakuran hinted at having personal interest in him, but she denied it, saying she only cared because he saved her. Ramsha interrupted, asking about the cafe that was destroyed, and Hakuran reacted in shock. Back at the conference, Motis's uncle said the game was developed over a long time to provide an enjoyable experience. The discussion with journalists intensified until it was revealed that Motis was one of the testers. The president announced this would be revealed soon, naming her the face of the game and his successor. He added she had been ill since childhood, but the game gave her freedom. Motis then gave an emotional speech about the game's value. When asked about the past incident, the president avoided answering, saying challenges helped improve the game and denying the rumors. The audience applauded, while the blonde reporter left smiling. We moved to Chino, treating her injuries after the pendulum battle, with Noi beside her. He asked if she wanted to become stronger to protect those she cares about. She agreed and shook his hand, then suddenly threw him to the ground, starting training immediately. His voice echoed as he endured the harsh training. After that, we returned to Motis with her uncle, Vincent, and Kikan. Her uncle expressed anger at her entering the game without permission. The others tried to apologize, but Vincent took responsibility. The president almost expelled them, but Motis intervened, saying she felt lonely and that it was her own decision. She said she understood the game's importance and promised to quit if there was danger, thanking them. He also mentioned she should be monitored because of a dangerous journalist. Back to training, Noi was practicing with Chino, his left eye glowing purple. Suddenly, his stomach growled. Chino stopped and said she would prepare food. He thanked her for what she did earlier. Then the doorbell rang and Cass entered carrying food for Noi. She noticed a woman's shoes, and when she looked she saw Noi and Chino together surrounded by an aura, making her uneasy. The three sat in the living room, and Noi explained he was there to defend his honor. Cass doubted it and asked if Chino was his bodyguard and why she was in his room. Noi said she was trustworthy, but Cass insisted on staying to protect him, while Chino refused, and an argument started. At that moment, Noi's stomach growled again, and Cass offered him food. He tried to calm them, but they silenced him and kept arguing. After that, Noi appeared relaxing in the bath, while the two girls sat quietly in the kitchen. Cass was cooking while explaining everything to Chino in the kitchen, since she knew the place better. In reality, there was a silent competition between them. Chino showed her skill by cutting a carrot precisely, which distracted Cass, causing the fish she was cooking to burn. Chino warned her, so Cass grabbed the pan and ran around the kitchen screaming, while Noi grew worried from the noise. Chino then threw a wet towel over the fish and put out the fire. At that moment, Noi came out of the bath wrapped in a towel. When the girls saw him, they were embarrassed, but Chino got angry, hit him hard, and sent him flying. The towel fell off and he crashed into a wooden table. Kikan and Motis arrived, opened the door, and asked about Noi. He stood up and spoke to them, unaware he was completely naked. They were shocked, and Motis screamed. Kikan immediately fired at him, but Noi dodged and ran into the kitchen. Chino, holding kunai, shouted and threw them at him angrily, and his screams echoed. Soon after, Noi appeared fully dressed, sitting on the couch with bruises, next to the group. Later, Kikan and Motis suggested going out the next day since the weather was good. Cass and Chino agreed, and Kikan said they would go to the beach. Elsewhere, Vincent and a nurse checked Oho's condition. The nurse confirmed she was fine. After Vincent left, the nurse removed her glasses and tie, revealing she was the same dangerous reporter. In another place, a girl named Hira was seen sleeping inside a capsule, surrounded by researchers who said they would find a way to bring her back. Back to the group at the beach, without Vincent and Haki. Noi asked Motis if she had been there before, and she said she wasn't sure, maybe 10 years ago. Kikan opened a police car trunk and pulled out Haki, who complained. Meanwhile, Hakuran was spying on the beach, but Ramsha hit him for doing a poor job. Hakuran, Ramsha, and Hako were there to observe Noi under the captain's orders. Hako recalled that the captain said Noi defeated the explosive witch alone, then looked at him, hoping everyone would enjoy themselves. Soon, Cass appeared in beachwear and tried to pull Noi to the water, but Chino stopped her, telling her he should stay where she can see him. Cass mocked her in response. Later, Noi and Haki walked and saw Motis in a beautiful swimsuit, surprising them. They played ball while Motis sat under an umbrella. Noi noticed her sitting alone and asked why she didn't join. She said she didn't want to get too involved with people of this world, and that being his friend was enough. They talked for a while, and Noi told her how strange and amazing it felt when he learned she came from another world. He said that meeting more people like her would create a new world full of possibilities, and encouraged her to take part more. After that, Cass accidentally kicked the ball near Motis. She picked it up and, influenced by Noi's words, stood up and joined them. Everyone supported her and enjoyed her presence. Kikan thought it was the first time he saw Oho truly happy. Time passed, and they enjoyed different activities. Later, Noi and Motis sat at the edge of the pier, talking about the experience. Suddenly, Noi saw a blonde girl at the end of the pier and said he had seen her before. When Motis looked, no one was there, and when Noi looked again, she had disappeared. After that, Noi rode a jet ski with Motis behind him. She said it was her first time. He suddenly stopped, thinking about the girl, then remembered seeing her earlier on the bus screen, and saw her again in the water. He jumped into the sea but couldn't reach her. He apologized to Motis, but she said she believed him, and that the girl might be nearby. Elsewhere, Chino told Cass to give up on Noi, saying he didn't love her. Cass replied she knew, but he was still the most important to her. Suddenly, Chino received a call from a Raven member, but it cut off. In another place, several Raven members were lying in a dark alley, their phone destroyed. A Nightwolf virus searched their data and found Chino's location at the beach. Chino grew worried when no one answered. Soon, the catastrophe alarm sounded. The sky darkened, and Noi and Motis sensed a catastrophe chasing a yacht. Motis transformed and said it was a powerful kraken. Noi equipped his blade suit, told her to hold on, and they rushed on the jet ski toward it. They jumped before being hit and landed behind the yacht, ready to fight. On the shore, everyone watched through binoculars. Kikan, worried, rode a jet ski with Cass behind him. The Kraken fired missiles, but Noi and Motis cut them down. Noi jumped and used his thread skill, but the Kraken broke it easily, then struck him, though he wasn't affected. More missiles came, and they dodged, but the yacht remained in danger. Kikan arrived in his blade suit and joined them, with Cass worried for Noi. Meanwhile, Hako appeared with Hakuran and the others, preparing to attack, but Hakuran told him to stay calm. Noi rushed forward, surrounded by a red aura, attacking the Kraken with flames. It dived underwater, and everyone thought it was over, but missiles suddenly emerged. Noi blocked most with threads, and Hako destroyed one with a precise shot. Another missile approached, and Motis destroyed it, but the explosion threw them into the water. Noi regained consciousness to see Motis caught by a tentacle, so he stabbed it to free her. She reached the surface, but Noi was caught and began drowning. Seeing this, Cass jumped into the water to save him. At that moment, inside Noi's consciousness, the blonde girl appeared again. She told him her name was Gaia, that she represented everything in this world, and that she had tried to reach him before. Then she showed him a woman and told him she was his real mother, and that he must save her. Suddenly, everything around Noi began to distort and break apart like digital fragments, while the girl kept asking him to save her before disappearing. At that moment, Cass exploded in anger, demanding the Kraken release Noi. She transformed into a massive form resembling a catastrophe and fired a powerful beam from her finger, causing the Kraken to explode. When Noi reached the surface, Cass returned to normal, but lost consciousness and fell into the water. Fortunately, Noi regained consciousness and rushed to pull her out, unsure whether the Kraken was truly defeated. Elsewhere, in a room, the unconscious woman appeared again alongside the blonde girl. A man called her Monsuto, revealing she was the same character from the game. She explained that Hini's body was extremely weak and that Gaia was becoming unstable, requiring urgent action. In the end, she called him father, revealing their relationship. Back to Noi, Motis, and Kikan in Vincent's office. Noi told them about his vision of Gaia, and how she asked him to save his real mother, though he didn't understand anything. At that moment, Monsuto appeared disguised as a nurse beside Motis, and said she would put her into deep sleep. She inserted a chip into the device connected to the game and pressed a button. In reality, Motis's body was hit by a shock. Inside the game, she screamed and lost consciousness. Noi caught her while everyone was confused. Motis fell into a coma in the real world, and her family arrived. A doctor said her condition was critical, and that the device must be examined. Suddenly, she convulsed violently. Noi and the others were worried, and Vincent realized he couldn't disconnect her because the system refused. He decided to investigate and logged out. Her family recalled her childhood in sorrow, fearing another loss. Vincent arrived and explained she was trapped inside the game. Before he finished, a doctor revealed the cause. A fake device had been inserted, and removing it incorrectly could kill her. The president suggested updating the system before removing it, but that would erase all data. Otherwise, the game would reset. He warned that if Oho lost connection to reality, she might remain trapped forever. He then left to act immediately, ordering Vincent not to follow. Noi and Kikan were worried. Noi told Kikan to rest and that he would stay with her. Kikan left reluctantly. Noi approached Motis, asking her to wake up, thinking they needed something to lift her spirit. He suggested returning to the amusement park, surprising her, as she didn't remember that experience. Elsewhere, Chino arrived at the Ravens' attacked location and found it empty, with a broken phone. At the same time, Virus pinned Senshan to a wall, saying he would reboot him, but instead began absorbing his energy through cables wrapped around his neck. Senshan transformed into a yellow dragon-like energy and attacked, but Virus was unaffected, surrounding himself with dark energy and taking control of it, then striking Senshan. Elsewhere, a massive explosion shook the city, causing panic. Virus appeared on a rooftop, declaring he had taken control of Senshan's data, and that Noi was the real problem. He claimed freedom was an illusion and wanted to push him into despair. In reality, news reported a serious incident. Motis, granddaughter of Mansa, was trapped in the game and in a coma. Mansa arrived at Gaia headquarters, ignored reporters, and entered directly. He went to the system room where Hira was. He called Horito, asking for help to save Motis, saying she sacrificed everything. As he spoke about a system flaw, Horito interrupted, warning it could prevent Hira's return, insisting the game must be protected. Before they continued, Monsuto appeared and said that without stopping the game, Motis couldn't be saved. When asked who she was, Jorito said she was his daughter Yugo. She showed them the chip used on Motis, explaining it connects the user to the game and determines whether they become trapped. She admitted she was the reporter who exposed everything. Mansa grew angry and tried to strike her, but Jorito stopped him and asked why she did it. She said the game consumed their lives for 10 years, and she hated seeing her family suffer. At that moment, Noi stood beside Motis when Gaia appeared again, telling him to save Hira quickly because time was running out. He expressed concern for Motis, but Gaia took his hand and placed it on her forehead, releasing a bright light. Suddenly, Noi found himself inside an amusement park, with Motis in front of him. She called his name, and they met again in that dreamlike place. She said it felt familiar. Then a younger version of Motis appeared, calling to Noi. When she approached, she passed through him, and he realized he was watching her childhood memories. Jorito and Hira were there with her parents, taking the children to the carousel. At that moment, Motis understood. They were her parents. Gaia told Noi that what he was seeing were Motis's deepest memories, those she could not remember and desperately wanted to forget from that day. She asked him not to look away and to save Hira, her mother, then disappeared while watching from afar, leaving Noi confused. It turned out they were all inside the game, while Jorito was analyzing the grass beneath them. Mosai, Motis's father, asked Jorito to stop working and enjoy the moment, but he refused, saying the game would succeed. Hira reminded him of playing with Noi, who arrived with Motis and showed them a 4-leaf clover. Jorito asked young Noi to help Motis find another. Mosai joined them, saying they should discover more bugs, and told Jorito he wouldn't stop him if it made Motis happy. Nearby, the young Gaia watched sadly. Hira noticed her and asked if she was okay, but Gaia cried and ran away. Moments later, Mosai found a clover and gave it to Motis, filling the place with joy. Suddenly Gaia screamed, and violent winds spread everywhere. The clover vanished, and the amusement park began to collapse. Mosai told Jorito to disconnect and check the system. Jorito agreed, but while trying to fix it, the device was destroyed, and everything began exploding. He told them to disconnect immediately. Gaia sat crying, and Hira hugged her to calm her. At that moment, young Noi ran toward his mother despite her warning. Gaia shouted that she was his mother, then surrounded herself and Hira with an energy sphere, destroying everything again. Mosai managed to disconnect his wife and Motis, but the other three remained trapped inside the game. In reality, the room they were in was destroyed. After that, Noi and Motis woke up as teenagers in a hospital, and their friends were relieved to see them conscious. Suddenly, Chino sensed something and said he had arrived. They went outside and found Virus, who told Noi it was surprising that he was the biggest error in this world. Elsewhere, Jorito spoke with the director, explaining that stopping the game would trap Noi and Hira forever, and that he kept programming it to keep them alive. Back to Noi and the others, he summoned his blade suit and weapon, preparing to face Virus. At that moment, Monsuto appeared before her father, saying those inside were already dead, and that she didn't want him to suffer for them. Back to the confrontation, Virus told Noi he was just a data error, and that his disappearance was necessary. In reality, Modus regained consciousness, and the nurse informed her uncle. Monsuto noticed and was shocked. Kikan told Vincent that Modus had awakened in the game and that Noi was under attack by Nightwolf. Virus mocked Noi, saying he was bored but enjoyed the ravens, especially Chino's arrival. He said this world was just a game where he could do anything, even kill, and laughed. Chino grew angry and attacked with her snake weapon, but Virus used the same ability more powerfully, destroyed it, restrained her, and threw her away unconscious. Virus attacked Noi with dark energy waves, but Noi blocked them with flames, then gathered them into a massive fireball and launched it. The attack only damaged Virus's clothes and glasses. Then Virus released a dark aura that trapped Noi, preventing him from escaping. From the hospital, the others watched. Cass rushed forward in panic, followed by Modus. Cass tried to approach, but Modus stopped her, saying she wouldn't let her get hurt, and that Noi wouldn't forgive her if anything happened. Kikan arrived, and both he and Modus summoned their suits to fight. But before they could move, Virus trapped them inside a yellow energy cube, saying it was a power he took from Senshan. While Noi was under continuous attack from Virus, Cass suddenly rushed into the battlefield and was hit directly by a dark energy beam. At that moment, her state changed completely, taking on a form never seen before. Virus revealed that she was originally a guardian created to protect Noi. Kaz then turned into a ghost-like form, approached Noi, and touched his forehead. His condition quickly improved until he fully recovered. After that, she disappeared. Back to the fight, a direct battle broke out between Noi and Virus. Noi launched a powerful fire attack, which Virus received mid-air. At that moment, the cube holding Modis and Kikan vanished, freeing them. Soon, everything inside the game began to collapse. Modis explained that the battle had caused severe damage to the Gaia system. In the sky, an energy sphere appeared, the same one that had trapped Hira 10 years ago, along with her capsule, triggering alarms and worrying Jorito. Noi then found himself in a strange place where Gaia appeared and told him to save Hira, showing him the sphere in the sky. In reality, Jorito noticed dangerous changes in the game data and that Gaia and Hira were at risk. Monsuto tried to calm him, but he insisted on protecting them and left. Back with Gaia, she explained that Virus had caused the system instability and put Hira in danger. She told Noi her power would allow him to return, and that she saw Hira as her mother. She apologized, then disappeared. Noi searched for a way back until he heard Haki's voice. Haki connected to him through the system, and Noi reappeared before them. Suddenly, Virus emerged from the system itself, carrying a strange core in his chest, acting erratic and attacking randomly. Kikan split him in half, but he survived. Noi summoned his scythe and warned him as Virus's severed hand formed an energy attack. At the same time, the cyber leader learned that Noi was Jorito's son and that Virus was extremely dangerous. Back to the battle, Kikan was hit and fell, while Virus split into two forms, one with the core and one without. Noi fought back, knowing he had to defeat Virus to save his mother. Motis received a call from her uncle ordering her to log out, but she refused, unwilling to leave Noi alone. In reality, they attempted to force her out, but doctors warned it was dangerous. Vincent returned and contacted Jorito. In battle, Noi's scythe broke, and Chino was hit while trying to help. Kikan threw him an axe, which he used to cut Virus's clones, but they kept regenerating. Meanwhile, Vincent told Jorito that Hira's spirit was inside the game, and asked him to stabilize it. The fight escalated as Virus multiplied into a massive army. Motis told Noi to go to Hira, but the original Virus trapped him inside an unbreakable barrier. Before attacking the others, Vincent intervened with an ice attack, destroying many clones. He explained that leaving the game was no longer possible, and if Shoyu Sakai collapsed, everyone would perish. Inside the barrier, Noi continued fighting Virus, while outside, the others battled the army with the cyber team, including Ramsha and Hako. In the lab, Jorito and the scientists couldn't find the cause of the failure. Modus moved toward the energy sphere holding Hira. At the same time, Monsuto helped her father stabilize the system temporarily. Modus tried to destroy the sphere, but was repelled. Meanwhile, Noi broke through Virus's defense and stabbed his core, releasing a powerful beam that pierced the barrier and struck the sphere. When Modus attacked again, the sphere finally shattered, and Hira's spirit was released. Noi caught Modus safely and watched his mother's spirit descend. With the core destroyed, all Virus clones disappeared, ending the battle. After that, the sky lit up, and peace returned. Everyone gathered around Cass as she regained consciousness. The next day, Motis appeared in a conference announcing the reopening of Shouju Sekai. On the screens, Gaia welcomed players into the world. In the end, Hira and Jorito were seen together, looking at Noi's photos from childhood to now, fully recovered. Everyone returned to their normal lives happily, and even Senchan returned, sometimes as a child, sometimes as a monk. And here the story comes to an end, dear viewers. We hope you enjoyed it and had a great time watching. Before you leave, don't forget to like the video to support us, subscribe for more stories, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new anime on the channel. Share your thoughts with us in the comments, and we'll see you in upcoming stories. Goodbye. Back to Noi and the others, he summoned his blade suit and weapon, preparing to face Virus. At that moment, Monsuto appeared before her father, saying those inside were already dead, and that she didn't want him to suffer for them. Back to the confrontation, Virus told Noi he was just a data error, and that his disappearance was necessary. In reality, Motis regained consciousness, and the nurse informed her uncle. Monsuto noticed and was shocked. Kikan told Vincent that Motis had awakened in the game, and that Noi was under attack by Nightwolf. Virus mocked Noi, saying he was bored but enjoyed the ravens, especially Chino's arrival. He said this world was just a game where he could do anything, even kill, and laughed. Chino grew angry and attacked with her snake weapon, but Virus used the same ability more powerfully, destroyed it, restrained her, and threw her away unconscious. Virus attacked Noi with dark energy waves, but Noi blocked them with flames, then gathered them into a massive fireball and launched it. The attack only damaged Virus's clothes and glasses. Then Virus released a dark aura that trapped Noi, preventing him from escaping. From the hospital, the others watched. Cass rushed forward in panic, followed by Motis. Cass tried to approach, but Motis stopped her, saying she wouldn't let her get hurt, and that Noi wouldn't forgive her if anything happened. Kikan arrived, and both he and Motis summoned their suits to fight. But before they could move, Virus trapped them inside a yellow energy cube, saying it was a power he took from Senchan. While Noi was under continuous attack from Virus, Cass suddenly rushed into the battlefield and was hit directly by a dark energy beam. At that moment, her state changed completely, taking on a form never seen before. Virus revealed that she was originally a guardian created to protect Noi. Kaz then turned into a ghost-like form, approached Noi, and touched his forehead. His condition quickly improved until he fully recovered. After that, she disappeared. Back to the fight, a direct battle broke out between Noi and Virus. Noi launched a powerful fire attack, which Virus received mid-air. At that moment, the cube holding Motis and Kikan vanished, freeing them. Soon, everything inside the game began to collapse. Motis explained that the battle had caused severe damage to the Gaia system. In the sky, an energy sphere appeared, the same one that had trapped Hira 10 years ago, along with her capsule, triggering alarms and worrying Jorito. Noi then found himself in a strange place where Gaia appeared and told him to save Hira, showing him the sphere in the sky. In reality, Jorito noticed dangerous changes in the game data and that Gaia and Hira were at risk. Monsuto tried to calm him, but he insisted on protecting them and left. Back with Gaia, she explained that Virus had caused the system instability and put Hira in danger. She told Noi her power would allow him to return, and that she saw Hira as her mother. She apologized, then disappeared. Noi searched for a way back until he heard Haki's voice. Haki connected to him through the system, and Noi reappeared before them. Suddenly, Virus emerged from the system itself, carrying a strange core in his chest, acting erratic and attacking randomly. Kikan split him in half, but he survived. Noi summoned his scythe and warned him as Virus's severed hand formed an energy attack. At the same time, the cyber leader learned that Noi was Jorito's son and that Virus was extremely dangerous. Back to the battle, Kikan was hit and fell, while Virus split into two forms, one with the core and one without. Noi fought back, knowing he had to defeat Virus to save his mother. Motis received a call from her uncle ordering her to log out, but she refused, unwilling to leave Noi alone. In reality, they attempted to force her out, but doctors warned it was dangerous. Vincent returned and contacted Jorito. In battle, Noi's scythe broke, and Chino was hit while trying to help. Kikan threw him an axe, which he used to cut Virus's clones, but they kept regenerating. Meanwhile, Vincent told Jorito that Hira's spirit was inside the game, and asked him to stabilize it. The fight escalated as Virus multiplied into a massive army. Motis told Noi to go to Hira, but the original Virus trapped him inside an unbreakable barrier. Before attacking the others, Vincent intervened with an ice attack, destroying many clones. He explained that leaving the game was no longer possible, and if Shoyu Sakai collapsed, everyone would perish. Inside the barrier, Noi continued fighting Virus, while outside, the others battled the army with the cyber team, including Ramsha and Hako. In the lab, Chirito and the scientists couldn't find the cause of the failure. Modus moved toward the energy sphere holding Hira. At the same time, Monsudo helped her father stabilize the system temporarily. Modus tried to destroy the sphere, but was repelled. Meanwhile, Noi broke through Virus's defense and stabbed his core, releasing a powerful beam that pierced the barrier and struck the sphere. When Modus attacked again, the sphere finally shattered, and Hira's spirit was released. Noi caught Modus safely and watched his mother's spirit descend. With the core destroyed, all Virus clones disappeared, ending the battle. After that, the sky lit up, and peace returned. Everyone gathered around Kaz as she regained consciousness. The next day, Motis appeared in a conference announcing the reopening of Shoyu Sekai. On the screens, Gaia welcomed players into the world. In the end, Hira and Jorito were seen together, looking at Noi's photos from childhood to now, fully recovered. Everyone returned to their normal lives happily, and even Senchan returned, sometimes as a child, sometimes as a monk. And here the story comes to an end, dear viewers. We hope you enjoyed it and had a great time watching. Before you leave, don't forget to like the video to support us, subscribe for more stories, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new anime on the channel. Share your thoughts with us in the comments, and we'll see you in upcoming stories. Goodbye.